Captain Moron.
Welcome, I am Captain Moron. I am a casual gamer focused on 2022's mobile game of the year, Marvel Snap. What we do here on this channel is give tips and pointers to help you be a competitive Marvel Snap player. Now that's not to say that I'm perfect. Sometimes I'm the moron, so you don't have to be. But in my ideal world, every subscriber to this channel, everyone who interacts with this channel would hit Infinite every season and have a darn good time doing it. And that's what we have been doing this season. We have been doing our March to Infinite. And we're on week 2. You can see I played 4 more decks than I did the previous week, so 12 decks this week. And you can also see which one was the best. I named it Orchis Forge because Orchis Forge, in case you didn't know, was the featured new location this week. Orchis Forge. As you can see, what happened was after you play a card here, it adds a Sentinel to your hand. Obvious synergies with Collector, growing your hand and having Devil Dino and that sort of thing. Even Quinjet and or Sarah reducing the cost of cards because Sentinels are pretty cheap. Bishop, because then you can play them easily, and you'll see that's exactly what I did. Before I jump over to that deck, I do want to point out that it got a 2.31 cube rate over the course of 13 games, a 92% win rate. Now that was with Orchis Forge as the featured location, but I will say I used it in a tournament, an 8-person tournament, and tied for 3rd as well. It's okay. It's not the worst. Okay, now a little rundown of how this deck works. As you can notice, lots of these cards, the Hood, Agent 13, Maria Hill, even Moon Girl, and White Queen are built to put cards in your hand that didn't start there. Obvious synergies, right, with Quinjet. They're going to cost 1 less. Also with Collector, every card going into your hand that isn't coming from your deck is buffing Collector by 1. That's the reason with the Quinjet there that we also have Sarah. At the time there was Orchis Forge, so those 2-cost Sentinels could be 0. Now in this case, it's still fine. I mean, to get their highest cost card and then be able to Sarah it down to a 4, even if it's a 6, that's all great. Then you can see you're going to have a very large hand, right? Which is great for Devil Dinosaur. And Moon Girl's there to duplicate that Devil Dino, so you could play 2 of those if need be. The alternative would be you have all these cheap cards that you put in your hand from places other than your deck, and then you can play all those to buff Bishop a bunch on the last turn. So a couple different win cons. That's really the characteristic of some of the best decks. And as you saw, did very well. The reason Armor and Cosmo are in here is if you are able to Moon Girl that Devil Dino, you can put 1 under each of those to protect them from Shang-Chi and or Valkyrie. Very nice. Now, some highlights from the week. Not all of these will be from the Orchis Forge deck. In fact, you'll notice this one is from last week's Magical Conqueror deck, but I just had to share. Kang the Conqueror is one of my favorite cards. The mind games you can play with people. I played Kang on this one, and they were going to put Null. I stayed in the game, and they thought to themselves, no doubt, I need to do something different because they think they can beat me if I just play Null. And indeed they did something different. They played Killmonger, killed 2 of our stones that we had there from Thanos, and Sabretooth, and I still Shang-Chi'd, and they lost, and we got 8 cubes. This was a prime example from the Orchis Forge deck. As I said, you can Moon Girl that Devil Dino. Most everyone will retreat. As soon as they see Moon Girl and then Devil Dino, they're out of there because they know another one's coming, and that's what happened in this situation. And last but not least, I spoke of Valkyrie's beauty, and here it is in all its glory. We had a monster on Monster Island, so we landed Cerebro Mystique. We were buffing that monster only by 4, and then we threw Valkyrie down there, bringing their Red Skull down and bringing the monster down so that it then buffed every card on the board except for Cerebro. I don't even know what the power differential was, but it was so amazing. And it's no shock we took 4 cubes from poor old Dragon. Alright, we talked about the Orchis Forge deck this week. You can find that over on MarvelSnapZone.com. I literally named it Orchis Forge, and I will link it in the video description down below. Last of all, you can find me on Twitch Tuesday, Thursday if you want to have some fun and come see how we're doing with the March to Infinite. Just a slow go. Try to get 3 ranks a day. Over 30 days, that'll take you 90 ranks up to Infinite. So far, we're on track. just shooting to stay on track. I do a little short stream Tuesday and Thursday nights, about half an hour, try to get as many cubes as we can, and just have a darn good time. And that is what I want you to do this week. Other than that, I am Captain Moron.